It's time to take a look at the most popular light novels in Japan over the week of April 16th to the 22nd of 2018. Hello everybody and welcome to the top 10 best-selling light novels in Japan, this covering the week of April 16th to the 22nd of 2018. We have 6 new titles on the list this week, so not quite the full-on sweep almost that we had last week, where only 2 titles remained. This week we have 4 titles carrying over from last week, and those 4 titles actually place in the top 5, so didn't have a lot of really big, heavy-hitting releases this past week, but we're coming up to some, so it'll be interesting to see what the list is like in the next coming weeks, but let's see where everything is this week. At number 10, with 4,502 copies sold, volume number 2 of Gate Season 2. This one, the second Gate series. The first one, of course, received an anime adaptation that you can stream on Crunchyroll, although we have not had any of the Gate novels licensed in English. This one is a new phase for the novels that shifts focus from the Japanese self-defense forces in the original novel and shifts it to the Japanese maritime defense forces. The second season begins with a new story where Commander Goro Etajima and his crew must rescue an abducted American journalist from the Akumi Special Region, but not before being transported through the reopened gate to another world. Now, I actually liked the anime series. I mean, it's got a goth lolly 1,000-year-old death god. I mean, come on. How can you go wrong with a series that has that? And cute elves and cute little magic users. And aside from the fact that a lot of people kind of felt that it was a little too much of like, yay, rah-rah, Japanese military defense forces propaganda. Which, you know, is probably not an entirely unfair opinion, but nonetheless, I like the series. I'd be interested in reading the actual series that the anime was based on, but as of yet, no luck with that license. At number 9, with 4,763 copies sold, this one kind of interesting because it's an older light novel, but has obviously had a resurgence in popularity because of the anime that just started airing, and that is volume number 1 of Sword Art Online Alternative Gale Online. So, of course, this a spin-off of the Sword Art Online series. This one has been licensed in English by Yen On. We're actually getting volume number 1 of Gale Online in June, so it's coming up pretty soon. There are 6 volumes currently available in Japan, so this is a couple years old, and yeah, number 1 hitting into the top 10. Like I said, probably because this season Gale Online, the anime adaptation, is airing. I believe this week Crunchyroll just released the 4th episode, so only about a third of the way through the season. Obviously, the series having a little bit of a bump in popularity because of that. A 183 centimeter tall female college student, Kohiru Imaki Karen, has a complex about her tall figure and has a poor social disposition because of it. This was changed by the VR MMO game Gale Online, GGO. In the game, Karen obtained a dream chibi avatar less than even 150 centimeters in height, put on a full-body pink uniform, and, as the player Len, frolicked around the world of GGO. A beautiful player, Pita Hui, appeared before Len. She was a rare female player in GGO, and so the two hit it off well. But one day, Len was asked to take part in a team battle royale formal tournament, Squad Jam, by Pita Hui. An official spin-off Sword Art Online supervised by Reki Kawahara, written by the gun supervisor of the Sword Art Online 2 anime, Keiichi Sigsawa, the author of Kino's Journey, which is kind of interesting. So this one, of course, like I said, spin-off series, not actually written by Reki Kawahara, but written by the author of Kino's Journey, which just recently had an anime adaptation and has been a very long-running light novel series, one that a number of people I have spoken to, myself included, I'd like to see it too, are hoping it one day gets licensed into English, but so far we haven't had any luck with that. But like I said, with Sword Art Online Alternative, we are getting this one starting to release in English in light novel format come June, and I know Yen Press has already started to release the manga spin-off of this one. So yeah, look forward to being able to read the light novel of this very soon. At number 8, with 4,791 copies sold, Volume 5 of Tsujou Kougeki ga Zentai Kougeki de Tukai Kougeki no Okaasan wa Suki desu ka? Or, do you like your mom? Her normal attack is 2 attacks at full power. The Isekai mom, this is what we just call it when we're talking about Twitter stuff, Isekai mom. This one has quite a bit of notoriety. One for its kind of funny ad campaign where it encouraged readers to bring their mom to the bookstore so that they could get a free copy. And also this one is notable because it has been licensed by Yen On. They just announced this license last month, so probably be a good, 5-6 months at least, I would say, until we see this actually released in print. But what's notable about it is that it is a Fujimi Shobo Fantasia Bunko title, and that is the one imprint that we haven't gotten any licenses from. There's been, I won't get all into it, but there are some other titles that are kind of under Fujimi that we have gotten, but apparently I guess they're not the actually Fujimi Fantasia line. Don't know. Lots of politics, lots of spin-off labels and stuff in Japan, but this one, we finally have broken that sort of glass ceiling and gotten a title from there. It's kind of, it wouldn't have been my first choice, but you know what? Whatever, man, I'll take what we can get. In this one, Osuki Masato is an ordinary high school boy who is magically transported to an alternative world. But for some reason, his doting, overprotective mother comes along as well. Yeah, you all know that I'll pick this up and give at least the first volume a read. I'm kind of curious to see if it's any good or if it's just, trying to ride that whole wave of, MILFdom. We'll leave it at that. Let's move ahead to the next title. At number 7, with 5,114 copies sold, Volume 4 of Kimi to Boku no Saigo no Senjou, Aruiwa Sekai ga Hajimaru Seisen, or The Last Battlefield Between You and I, or perhaps the beginning of the world's holy war. A newer series that we do not have a license for in English. The Empire, endowed with an advanced level of knowledge, and the nebulous Imperial Household Agency, feared as the country of witches. On the long-lasting battlefield between these two countries, a boy and girl met. The swordsman, who became the ultimate force on the battlefield at the youngest age throughout all the Empire's history, Iska. The Ice Witch Princess, praised as the strongest in all of the Imperial Household Agencies, Alice Liese. If you capture me, your dream may also be fulfilled. Likewise, if you defeat me, it will become a step in the unification of your world. The two arch-enemies were to kill each other. However, the boy had his heart stolen by the girl's beauty and nobility, and the girl was attracted to the boy's strength and way of living. Even if walking alongside one another would not be permitted, and the only path before them was to defeat each other. Now, I have to say that I think this is like a prime title for A, an eventual anime adaptation, and B, an English language license. It is, first off, a fantasy title, which always goes well. Secondly, it seems to be pitching sort of a scientific-based society, knowledge-based society against a magic-based society, and that always seems to be a theme that does very well in the anime world. And finally, it's got that whole Romeo-Juliet vibe going, which, I mean, we don't really have to work too hard to find a plethora of examples about how that particular trope seems to do well in pretty much every society. So this, to me, is actually a title to keep an eye on. It's relatively early in its release cycle, only 4 volumes out, so probably a little bit early before we'd hear anything about anime adaptations or anything like that. But this one I'm going to keep an eye on because, like I said, it's got a pretty potent trifecta of stories that I think would be very, very attractive to a large, wide audience. So we'll see what happens with this one later on. At number 6, with 5,837 copies sold, Volume 3 of Date Alive Fragments, Date a Bullet. This one, a spin-off series of the Date Alive series. We do not have an English license for any of the light novel series under the Date Alive banner. There was an anime done a number of years ago which was licensed for English release. I know quite a number of people are very anxious to get this title licensed, but we have yet to hear anything. With this spin-off, it is the story of Tokisaki Kurumi that shouldn't have been told. The amnesiac young girl Empty, who woke up in the neighboring world, encounters Tokisaki Kurumi. Led by her, the place she arrived at was the school's classroom. In order to kill each other, the girls known as semi-spirits gathered. Now then, let's begin our battle. Date. So again, yeah, a series that we do not have in English that I know a lot of people would be very, very pleased if it got licensed. But the main series, there's quite a number of volumes that kind of make me wonder if we'll see it get licensed, but I certainly wouldn't be put out by it if we did. At number 5, with 6,006 copies sold, this one been on the list for a couple weeks now, Volume 1 of One Piece Novel A. So this one, of course, a novelization based on one of the characters in One Piece. It's a prequel story. It was told originally in 3 parts in the One Piece magazine, and then they've combined it and added material and released it as a novel. And of course, One Piece, the mammoth series with a ton of manga, which we do have released in English by Viz, as well as a very long-running anime series, which we do have licensed by Funimation. You can catch, it's usually like the most recent, like 100 or so episodes. Crunchyroll seems to have, it's kind of a bummer. You can't go all the way back to the beginning, but, well, you know, I guess you can't hold it against them. Yeah, there's literally hundreds of episodes. I would not be surprised to see this one get licensed eventually. Viz has licensed in the past some of the one-shot type light novels based on their other property, Naruto, so I wouldn't be surprised to see this one get picked up at some point, but at this point, nothing has been announced about this particular book. At number 4, with 6,020 copies sold, volume number 14 of Rakudai Kishi no Cavalry, a chivalry of the failed knight. Now, this one, of course, on the list last week, a popular series that there was an anime based on. It was streamed in the English world, but we do not have a license for the light novels at this point. A number of people I speak to kind of feel like this one got shunned because of the Asterisk War, because both are very much sort of like that magic high school battle type storyline, although it seems to me like there's a lot more love for this one than there is for Asterisk War, so I kind of wonder just exactly where the foresight was in licensing Asterisk over this. But who knows? If Asterisk War is doing well, maybe this will be a title that somebody else looks at, or even Yen picks up. Who knows? I know a lot of you are hopeful, so hey, when Seven Seas keeps putting up their things about, tell us what you'd like to see licensed. You can join the party, because I know there's already a bunch of people who put this one pretty much every single month. At number 3, with 7,444 copies sold, Volume 5 of Tondemo Skill de Isekai Horo Meshi. This one, no English license for this. In fact, it's even though it's got a 5th volume, I can't even really find a very dependable English translation of the title that people have accepted. Mukoda Tsuyoshi, summoned from modern Japan to a different world of sword and magic. He thought of what kind of a huge adventure was waiting for him. But actually, Mukoda is just a civilian who got caught in a hero summoning. And that Mukoda's base stats are shabby compared to the legitimate heroes. There's even 3 of them. On top of that, the king who summoned Mukoda and the rest were suspicious. And so Mukoda left the castle by himself, realizing, these are the types that only heroes would be used. The only thing that Mukoda could rely on in this world was his unique skill, Net Supermarket. It can only order goods from modern Japan to the different world. It's not for combat, but if I use it properly, I might have no trouble living. Mukoda thought lightly, but actually, he found out that the modern food that he ordered would display ridiculous effects. On top of that, ridiculous guys who were attracted by a different world's food gathered. Now, I know a number of people are kind of burned out on the whole Isekai thing, but I have to say this is an Isekai title that I wouldn't mind checking out. Maybe it's partly because there's this really awesome massive white wolf on all of the covers, because, you can't get enough massive white wolves in light novels. Come on, there's not that many, to be honest. In any case, I'm just kind of curious to see how this one works out. I kind of like that whole idea, though. It's like this dude who was just summoned by accident and ends up with a power that, he ends up putting to really good use and just kind of is doing his thing because nobody expects anything of him. I don't know. I think it could be good. But again, no license for this one. Maybe someday we'll just have to wait and see. At number 2, with 17,876 copies sold, Meitante Konin, Zero no Shikonin, or Detective Conan, Zero the Enforcer. This is the novelization of the 22nd Detective Conan film, which is out in Japan. I think it's out in Japan, or it's going to be out very shortly. I'm pretty sure it's already out. Anyway, this one, of course, the long-running Detective Conan series. We do have the manga, which is the original source material, available in English via Viz. I believe they call it the English title Case Closed. I know that the anime, which is also being released in English, that's the title that it's being released as, is Case Closed as well. You can stream some of the more recent episodes on Crunchyroll. Again, this is another series that has a very, very long manga series and hundreds of episodes of the anime. So it's kind of tough. It's pretty much a commitment right now to hop on board that fan train. But nonetheless, yes, the novelization for the film on the list, not too shocking. We've seen quite a few novelizations over the past year or so hit this top 10. Everything from like Your Name, when I first started doing this last summer. A couple weeks ago, there was one for a movie called Honey. Then there's this one. We've seen all sorts of spin-offs of other series. Even the One Piece, technically it's not a light novel series, but a light novel based on a manga/anime property. So really not too surprising to see this one on the list. And like I said, super long-running series, very, very popular. Not too shocking to see it do pretty well. Although it's interesting that it's actually moved up the list this week from where it was last week. Finally, at number 1, and it's not a surprise because I actually called this last week. It's going to be volume number 25 of Mahoka Koko no Reitosei, or The Irregular at Magic High School. So, of course, this one we do have licensed in English. The 7th volume is currently, they've released up to the 7th volume. And the 7th volume is what was covered up to in the anime, so we've caught up to the anime at least. And that is being released in light novels by Yen On. Their other imprint, Yen Press, is releasing the manga spin-off, which is The Honor Student of Magic High School. So, and you can stream, I believe, the anime still on Crunchyroll. So, This one pretty easily available. We're getting it every couple of months, and it's a series that, well, I'm still debating with myself whether I want to pick up with it again. This one, I believe, volume number 25 is part 2 of a storyline which was started in volume number 24, and there has been recent news in the past month or so that this volume kind of marks the beginning of towards the end of the series, although I have yet to see just how many volumes that end is going to involve, so we may still have a good number of issues left of the irregular at Magic High School. This week I want to say a very special thank you to David Miller, Patrick Mbaihi, Gorminator, and VixLab.com for their support on Patreon, as well as all the supporters that I have on Patreon. And you know what? To all of you as well for watching these videos. I am moving ahead with the Light Novel podcast. We sat down, we've recorded the first episode. I'm just editing it right now, hoping to have it up in the next couple of days. I will post it here on YouTube, and it should be available in a number of other podcast locations. And there is going to be a website, lightnovelpodcast.com. It's currently alive, but there's really nothing on it, so it's not too exciting. This episode is kind of like a free-for-all, a bit chaotic. It's just kind of introducing all of who's involved with it and kind of just talking about light novels and why we're into light novels and why we think light novels are pretty awesome. But you know what? We're going to open the floor to you on that when it releases to tell us what kind of things you'd like to see, the kind of series that you would like for us to discuss. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun. It's just going to be really, really fun. It's going to be really good, and I'm really looking forward to it. And it's really because of the financial support of my Patreons and also the moral support of all of you viewers that's made me kind of be like, yeah, this is some new venture that I want to get into and dedicate some time and effort to. And I'm really looking forward to it finally being out there, and I hope you all enjoy it. So those are your top 10 best-selling light novels in Japan for the week of April 16th to the 22nd of 2018. And I don't like a too exciting list this week, but you know what? We've got some pretty big, heavy-hitting titles going to be releasing very soon, so this could be a very, very changed list as soon as next week. We will just have to wait and see. And if you're brand new to the channel and you love light novels, you should subscribe. I do this countdown every single week, as well as doing 2 to 3 reviews of light novels on a weekly basis as well. Thank you so much for joining me in this video, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Till then, bye-bye for now.